Many e-commerce brands are struggling in summer with their sales. The reason is obvious: it's warm outside, people are on holiday, people like to spend the time with their families, and usually they don't spend so much time in front of a smartphone, in front of the computer. So the purchase rate is lower. And that's obviously also a very big issue for many e-commerce stores. But the good news is, it doesn't have to be like that. There is a solution for that issue, how you can make almost the same sales like 365 days a year, also in summer, without having a big gap during the hot months out there. And in this video, we'll talk exactly about this. Hi everyone, my name is Marcel Sattler. I'm the founder of PurpleBlack, a native advertising only agency. What we're doing on a daily basis is we run profitable native advertising campaigns on traffic sources like Taboola, Outbrain, Gemini, and many, many more. And a lot of e-commerce brands, as mentioned already, are struggling with those summer gaps, and they're avoiding usually, or they try to avoid those summer gaps, but usually it's not possible for them. So they have good sales amounts or good sales in general. Let's say in January, February, it's a bit differently, honestly. Usually in January you're starting high, February, March is going a bit down, May is again good, but then the summer months are going down, and usually e-commerce brands are trying to swim through this period because they know exactly in September it will go up until Q4 again. So, and sorry for my bad drawing. It's better to do things with the computer for me, but anyway. So that's usually the line for e-commerce stores. And that's a big issue because you have to still pay salaries, you have to pay everything else, so all the costs continuing, but the sales are lower. And it doesn't have to be like that. There are two reasons why you should use this summer, not just to make sales, but also to prepare for Q4. So therefore I will split this video into two parts. One part is very, very obvious. I will start with the smaller part. So the strategy we are using here for native ads is we are sourcing an audience which we can use afterwards for Q4. So we are filling the pixel with informations, and this information is very, very crucial for us to honestly to win all the auctions or to win a lot of auctions in Q4. That makes life so much easier. If you want to rock Q4, it's usually too late when you start in October. If you want to rock Q4, you have to start with native ads now. You have to get them profitable that you just can scale in Q4. So that's the magic behind of it. So if you are thinking about, should I start with native ads? Q4 is very important for me, but why should I start now in June or July? It doesn't make sense. It definitely makes sense. So if you want to use Q4, you have to start now with native ads. You have to set up everything properly, the tracking. You have to be profitable before Q4 is starting, because that ensures that you will have enough power and enough knowledge to start in Q4 and to rock Q4. If you just start in September, October, it might be a bit too late, or in October it's definitely too late, because you will not know exactly what approach will work, and you will not have all the pixel data like many brands which already do native ads for 2 or 3 years. They're outperforming you in every way. They're outperforming you because they know exactly what approaches are working. They're outperforming you because they know exactly what kind of ads are working, what kind of headlines, what kind of images for their brand. They outperform you because they know what sites the conversions are. So they are not just better, but they know things just a little bit longer than you. And that's usually not a problem if you start in a period like now, or if you start in April, May, June, July. But it's an issue if you start in September, October, November. So that's unfortunately a little bit too late then. So long story short, if you think about starting with native ads and using the Q4 for your brand, you should start now. Next topic I want to talk about is being profitable during summer and also making a good amount of sales and not just on a very low volume. And the magic behind of it, honestly, is just making different approaches. So we have products, for example, when we talk about beauty. We know exactly many people in summer are getting a sunburn, so we talk about sunburn. When we talk about losing weight, we know many people will go to the beach, so we are talking about beach body. And there's almost for every product a good approach for summer. You just have to adapt it. So maybe the evergreen approaches are going a bit less. So usually the campaign setup looks like this. You have some evergreen approaches. Let's say we have 3 evergreen approaches. And I don't know why I've made them purple and not green, but anyway, it's evergreen, evergreen, evergreen. And those are working usually very, very stable. But here on those evergreen approaches, you have definitely the issue that you have like this curve here. So it's going down during the summer months. And here you see now the gap which you have to fill. And to fill this gap here, you need new approaches. And those approaches are summer approaches. So you have, for example, now or already May, June, so this is the perfect time to find those summer approaches, which is some test approaches. So test approach 1, test approach 2, sunburn, beach body, whatever you have in mind. And as soon as you see, for example, at the end of June, beginning of July, hey, this is working and this is working, then you're making some bigger campaigns of it, and those campaigns you will scale up during the summer months. And those campaigns are helping you in combination with the evergreen campaigns to fill exactly this gap here, which are marked here. And that means you will have almost the same sales like you have in May, maybe also profitable, because sometimes on a few clients, honestly, we see a huge impact for those summer campaigns. We see that those summer campaigns, they're rocking it. They're absolutely awesome because people are love to buy also things in summer. People are also reading news, so you will also find them or you can also target them with native ads. So important is just how smart you are and how good you can target those kind of people, because CPCs and CPMs are low now. They are on the 0.0 if you compare it with Q4. So Q4, everything is getting more expensive. So my honest recommendation here for you is take action now. Use this time now to make here sales with those different approaches. It's super important that you make those conversions. And as mentioned already, it's all about here, it's all about those approaches. So test as many approaches as you have in mind. Here are just a few hints what you can use. As mentioned already, when you are something in beauty, when you're selling creams or so, then you can use sunburn, sun protection, skin cancer, avoid skin cancer and stuff like this. If you're in losing weight or weight loss, you can use stuff like summer body, how ashamed people feel on the beach, stuff like that. We also have some people with some supplements to avoid sweating, for example, to avoid those smell when you sweat. So you can honestly use almost everything for a summer approach. And I'm curious, honestly, how or what you have in mind for this. So write it down in the comments what product you have and what might be a good summer approach, and I will answer it as soon as I have time if this is a good approach or if you might have space for improvement. An additional tip here from my side is that things with dogs and children are also working very well in summer. So people like to spend money also when we have a recession and all the money has less value. So anyway, people love to spend money. And usually they don't love to spend money for themselves, but they love to spend money for their animals like dogs or cats. More dogs, honestly, but they love to spend money for the dogs. And they love to spend money for the kids. So everything what you have, which is good for kids, which is good for dogs, or something which is good for beloved ones, then it's definitely worth it to make a separate approach, to make a separate campaign out of this year. Because people also, when they're tight with budget, they still spend a lot of money for their children, for their babies. And the main structure is as simple as always when you have like one big approach. You have inside 3 headlines, 3 images, which are 9 ads. And I would recommend 2 to 3 editorials. And don't forget to use a tracker, like for example volume, to make a split test in the background to see what's converting better, what's converting worse. It can be, for example, in the editorial that you have a shorter one, a longer one, one editorial with a video, one editorial without a video, or a more soft approach, more aggressive approach. So here it's completely up to you. It's just important that you test very different kind of approaches here to ensure that you have enough data to test at the end of the day. I hope you liked the video and that you will take action now and use the summer for your e-commerce brand to scale it up with native ads like Taboola and Outbrain. If you like this video, I would extremely appreciate if you give me a thumbs up, and of course, when you subscribe to my channel to receive updates when I upload a new video here on YouTube about nothing but native. Have a good one. See you next time.